Hey, yo, if I can be serious for a minute.
Oh, yeah!
Acknowledge me.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome. Come on in, sit down, because it's time for another episode of the Sit Down Marks podcast. I want to thank everybody for checking us out on sitdownmarks.com right now and also on our Facebook page. And today, Dylan, we got a returning guest on the podcast, man, but we're all very excited for this one because we are on the road to anniversary. Coming back, joining us, he is the promoter, owner of Dreamwave Wrestling, Jay Repsel. What's going on, brother? Welcome. Good to see you, man.
Good to be back. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. So last time we saw you, man, you were here, I believe it was March of 2025. So roughly, about a year ago. We got to quit doing this once a year and start doing it, more so we can, but you're a busy man. A lot of things going on. People will understand that once they listen to this podcast today when they see all the stuff that's going on, man. But, last time you were here, man, a lot has happened in a year, man. How things can change, right? So, Dreamwave is we're on a string of sellouts right now. Uprising Women's Athletes is back and doing very well. We got shows coming up with that. After Dark, you're another side project. We'll be talking about that, has made its return. Last summer, you just graduated your first school of the Dreamwave Academy. Your first class of the School of Dreamwave Academy. So we talk about that, so adding to the busy schedule, we're headed to Langley, Illinois in July this year for a big show at the Psycho Saloon. So, you've got new sponsors like me. I feel like I could just keep going on, man. More and more. You got a YouTube series on called DreamwavePrelude, where that's taped on the pre-show of your shows now. So, I mean,
never seen it.
Yeah, I know, right? Never heard of it, right? Yeah. So, what can I say, man? Dreamwave is bigger than it's ever been, Jay, and you are a busy man. So, talk to me, man. Like, we're just a couple days removed from After Dark, and the adrenaline's still there a little bit, about the show. So, talk to me about now, right now about how you're feeling, and all the success that Dreamwave's got going on.
It's kind of a whirlwind. I think we were talking a little bit before we went on the air, where it's like you don't really have time almost to adjust for the next one because it happens so fast and furious. It's like we started with a 2-month break in between shows was kind of the norm once we returned, and now it's like, oh man, we're 30 days out, or it just seems like the time flies. And
Yeah.
we were talking about some things. We were like, oh, we're gonna put out DVDs or whatnot of the shows, and it's just crazy because it's like, oh, never mind, we decided to launch another brand instead. And you get sidetracked doing that stuff, and none of it's like literally intentional. Like I haven't sat down and been like, my goal is to launch After Dark this year. I think we teased it for a really long time, and like,
Yeah.
we'll be sitting around having a chat at a show, and it's like, we should bring it back, and the time wasn't right, the place wasn't right, then all of a sudden it just was. And a lot of these decisions that I make are honestly like very on the whim. Like I'm driving, I'm like, I'm gonna tweet a little tease about this and see if it gets any traction. And
Sure.
and that's how I do things. I mean, I really like to get the pulse of the audience, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But I'm really happy with the way things have gone. This year's been great. Last year was super busy as well. Seems like the summer was just like, man, we kept adding shows, and like we try not to do that. Like that's one thing when we brought this back is we didn't want to oversaturate.
Sure.
So we're careful and choosy about when we do things. A lot of thought goes into it. I got a lot of slack about the Uprising schedule this year not coming out and getting pushed back a little bit, but we do those things not to annoy people, but with everybody's best interest in heart, the talent, the fans. I mean, we're asking people to open their wallets and come to the shows and support them. And,
Right.
not everybody can afford to go to, even though we're a lot cheaper than some of the big guys. It's rough to bring a family, you go to the movies or go to a show. And
Sure.
it's pretty expensive at times. So we do be mindful of those things at times.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So, I don't think there's like a particular place to start, but let's start where we are right now, Jay. So we're coming off Living on a Prayer back in February. Quite possibly, if Dreamwave wasn't hot enough, wasn't, interesting enough, quite possibly one of the most shocking moments ever in Dreamwave history, questions are still being asked, Brittany decided to hit Bobby Orlando with a chair. That show is available right now on IWTV. You can go check it out. And we're all asking ourselves, why did she hit Bobby instead of Connor? And, I know probably things are, a lot of people have been asking you questions, right? But, so what I'm trying to get to is the train is rolling with Dreamwave already, right? And then something like this comes in and just, changes and mixes everything up in Dreamwave. And, just talk about, the excitement, the buzz, because we're on the road to anniversary. Brittany is supposedly going to, answer maybe questions, but she's at least going to, maybe address why. But yeah, just talk about the buzz that, this past, February shows created.
I think it's whenever there's a decision made by talent or by creative or whoever to do something like that, it's a scary thing. I mean, it's terrifying, quite honestly. I think on a bigger level, we saw how the John Cena thing went down, and I'm not here to criticize or say what's right or what's wrong. I mean, I think the general consensus is that it was a cool moment, but we don't want to risk. Brittany's a big draw for Dreamwave, and she has been. She was one of the faces, if not the face of the company for a really long time. I mean,
Absolutely.
since we brought her in almost, and it's like, are we going to sour these fans? Is it going to backfire? I mean, it's always in the back of your head. But at the same time, it's like, you got to have balls of steel. And I mean, something like that you go back and forth on that and change your mind. I mean, I can't tell you the amount of times. And, you talk to the talent and you talk to everyone involved, and it's like, so then you take the pulse of the audience after something like that happens. I mean, I don't know how closely people watch our product, but if you go back 6 months, you can see seeds planted.
Right.
Just little subtle things, and those things are put in place to take the temperature of the audience. And people, you could hear people going, oh, heel turn, or she's wearing black, or she looks mean in that promo photo, and a lot of those things are done on purpose. And I think that, I mean, going back to the Royal Rumble or wrestling in general, Monday Night Wars, and I think that's what's missing with pro wrestling is that surprise. And I think we do better than almost anybody a good job at whether it's a surprise talent or a shocking moment, and
Right.
you can't do them all the time because you desensitize your audience. However, when you do them and do them in the right spots, I think that can really make a show. Bobby Orlando winning the Good as Gold Rumble. Let's go. Bobby Orlando winning the Good as Gold Rumble. I thought that was such a great moment. And he's a character that's beloved, but he hasn't been a main eventer, so to speak. He's compartmentalized at a certain spot on the card, and it's I mean, he's over enough, and it fit into the context of the story perfectly. It serves so many masters that it just was the right moment. So going back to your question, we try and always keep people on their toes, and I think we do a hell of a job doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so too. So, so on the heels of that, we're on our way to anniversary, right? And on top of Brittany addressing us, we got 4 huge matches, and maybe at the top of that card, and is the women's match between Becca and RJS. I've said it online. I've said it to my friends. This one's going to break up families, people. This one's going to be big, man, because people are taking sides, and this is title versus title. Huge implications here. So if you're new to Dreamwave or you don't know, anniversary, it's our biggest annual show of the year. The one that we have every year. We're celebrating 11 years coming up on April the 11th. There's a great storyline going on with Cody and Christian. This match is gone back, for months, and then, Channing and Connor, this big rival that they have going on, and then you look, if any of that doesn't please you, look at this Hype versus Hidden Gems rematch. Like, Dylan was talking about, how like awesome this was. I kind of felt like, these two kind of define how the Dreamwave tag team division has kind of morphed into. It's exciting, it's exhilarating, it's fast, it's high speed, and it keeps you on your toes while you're watching. So if you, like I said, if you never watched Dreamwave, this is, you're watching this for the first time, you're thinking about watching, this one's a good time. Right now is a good time to hop on. Because, with anniversary coming up, it always feels like, it's kind of like the beginning of the year, sort of kind of in a way. But Jay, I want to ask you, man, so, Dreamwave anniversary, this one always feels like a little extra every year, right? You know what I mean? Like it feels, obviously it's birthday, it's anniversary time, right? But, it always feels like something special.
It does. I mean, absolutely. I mean, it's our WrestleMania. I mean, I'm not afraid to say it. Like, everything builds to this show throughout the course of the year. And unfortunately, everybody else started calling their show anniversary too. So we had to put a little sauce on it this year, and like, a little subtitle. And
sure.
But no, I think talent knows that. I mean, and that's every Dreamwave show. I mean, I think that's what makes it so special. Not just like the crew and everybody taking ownership, but the talent. That they all go out and get new gear made for anniversary and stuff like that. And I think that's a testament to how much Dreamwave means to everybody. And we always say, like, Dreamwave belongs to nobody. It belongs to everybody.
Absolutely.
If that makes sense. And, I think that's why it's so special. And anniversaries are the crescendo of that, where it's like, we've spent a year building to this point, and it's, honestly, I don't feel like anybody that has been to a Dreamwave show, not maybe ever, but definitely since the comeback, this new reiteration of Dreamwave, I can't see people coming and paying their $20 or $40 if they sit front row and being like, man, that was disappointing, that like everything sucked. Like, there's not a chance in hell that you could say that.
Right.
And if you are, you're full of shit. I mean,
yeah,
because I always say, like, Dreamwave is a love letter to pro wrestling. Every match it's a mixtape. If you don't like this one, maybe women aren't your thing. Maybe, tag team matches aren't your thing. The next match is so different that you can't not enjoy yourself. I mean, really, have we ever had a show that's not as good as the one previously? Of course, but anniversary, I don't think has ever been that show. So
right.
Yeah, can I put in here real quick, BB?
Yeah, absolutely.
So 11th anniversary, 11 years. That's nothing to sneeze at. That's quite an accomplishment in itself. Can you talk about like what that 11th anniversary means? I know there was that, that in between time between the OG Dreamwave and Dreamwave now, but still 11 anniversary shows. That's quite the accomplishment. What does that 11th anniversary? Why is that special? What does that mean?
It is special. I mean, I always say, we did take a 6-year absence, and I've been doing this for over like 25 years now, something like that. But for it to be Dreamwave, to make it to this point, I mean, people can like get their tax returns and run a show. We've seen it with numerous companies that have filed bankruptcy and come back, whatever. But like, to be longevity and being there consistent, I mean, you can't criticize that. And I mean, again, that's not me being cocky. Like, I'm a small piece of this puzzle. I mean, I'm a piece of the puzzle, but there's so many moving parts, and it's a village. And, I know it's cliche to say that, but I mean, this is like our hard work that does this.
Yeah.
I mean, guys get in the building at 10 o'clock on show day, and they're taking this ring up these big ass stairs. And like, it's you don't see the non-glamorous part of it when you watch the IWTV, or you get there at 6 o'clock and watch the shows.
Yeah.
That's the payoff to all the hard work. And this is the payoff to all the hard work after all these years. And, I'm very proud of our longevity and to be doing it. And I mean, I'm not trying to sound cocky here, but to do it at a high level for this long is something that like I'm very proud of.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, 11 years doing anything is a big deal. And I always say, because I know, because my dad, I grew up with my dad working with some promoters and and that kind of stuff, and thank God for them, man, because if we didn't have them, and like not blowing gas up here, but kind of, Jay, if we didn't have like people like you, man, like, able to take this big circus on, and then even to, take it to the level that you do, is like, that's the only reason like independent wrestling lives. It's the only reason why it stays alive is pure passion only. You know what I mean? And like, yeah, there's a bunch of, bad promoters out there that get bad raps, and most of them that get it, I always say usually probably deserve it. You know what I mean? If they're somewhere along there, but like, but like I never really even bat an eye at those because there's so many like really good ones. And it really is truly like what keeps the heartbeat of independent wrestling. You know what I mean? Because if there's no places for these guys and girls to work, it dies, you know what I mean? And so it must go on, so thank you for that. So let's move on, Jay. So recently, man, if you're new to Dreamwave, so Uprising is Uprising women's athletes is Dreamwave's women's division. And how many years we've been going now, Jay, on this?
Man, I don't even know.
2.5, something like that. Yeah, or something like that.
2.5, something like that.
But this is what you're seeing on screen right now is the schedule for this year. Right? Everybody's been asking, and the first show is going to be June 19th, second July 31st, and the third date is December 4th. All three of these dates are part of a either double shot weekend with Dreamwave or an all-star weekend where we'll be talking about that later, where there's 3 shows in one weekend. So, but I do think that all these shows are on Friday, and these are all women's shows. You see right now, the kind of people that we have on these shows. It's the cream of the crop. It's the top tier women of independent wrestling. It's the who's who. And Jay, what I want to ask you, man, is like the buzz, the feedback. This graphic just dropped, I think, last week. About the dates coming out. Everybody's kind of anxious, want to see what the dates are going to be. You do at least 2 or 3 year. But yeah, what's the buzz like, man? And what kind of feedback you getting?
It's great, man. I mean, we put our season tickets on sale, and I don't think they're sold out, but they're getting damn close for the front row season tickets for those.
Okay.
We do 3 uprisings because, I mean, it's a lot of work, and we don't. There's a lot of women's companies popping up, and that's awesome.
Sure.
I wasn't the first. I mean, Shimmer was a thing. There's a couple others. But I think imitation is always the most sincere form of flattery.
Yeah, it is.
I think it's wonderful for the women. I mean, Brittany and Zeta did a lot of business for us, and they put a lot of eyeballs on our product. All these women do still. And it's a big part of what we do. And, we do 3 of these a year because they're expensive shows to do. We don't want to like half-ass it and bring in,
right.
I mean, anybody can have a show and have people drive there. We have a lot of logistic things to have shows on LaSalle. I mean, we have to get them. We're an hour and a half from the airport. So we fly them in, we have to get them here, hope everything's on time. Then get them either to a hotel in town.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's happened a time or two. And especially in the Midwest in the wintertime, it's very difficult. Yeah. And, so we looked at that and thought, we used to have one in April, and everybody was like, well, why you're not doing the April one? That sucks. Well, that was a creative thing for me because it was always hard when, for example, we got Becca and RJS at anniversary. And I just hate to have that asterisk where it's like, well, if something doesn't happen the night before at anniversary or at Uprising. So I just never liked that show, the placement of that show.
Right.
So we pushed it the second part of the year. And it's not like we don't have a steady diet of women's wrestling on every other show. I mean, I think, we talked about longevity. Another thing I'm very proud of is I think we've done a lot for women's wrestling. I think we continue to do a lot for women's wrestling. And I took so much shit when we first decided to announce this. People are like, oh, a guy running a women's wrestling company, that's going to last. Yeah, well, so look where we're at now, you know? Like,
right.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think women feel comfortable here working. They know that they're going to wrestle people that are a lot of times better than them, which they don't have that opportunity a lot of other shows. And that's how they get better. I mean, there's going to be some news coming out in the next couple of weeks that, I'm very proud of from a talent standpoint. That I'm not saying we're the only reason, but we get a lot of eyes on our product and a lot of important eyes on our product.
Mm-hmm.
and you're going to see some things that come down the newswire. And I think it's awesome that we're affording these women this and the men too, these opportunities to be seen at a high level by important people. And, we're very proud of that. So.
Yeah. This is super cool. I've gotten a lot of good feedback, from it, especially since, as we record this, it's March the 12th. And, usually, like you said, people already know like when the Uprising shows, are going to be. So, even at After Dark, last weekend, a lot of people were asking, when are the dates? So here they are. And you got to get to one of these shows. Like I said, it's the cream of the crop. It's the who's who of Uprising women's athletes. And, Jay's even, teasing a little spoiler there, a little something for you there. So stay tuned to Uprising socials and Dreamwave for those. And I want to talk about the fans for a second, man. While we're talking about this, they're the ones that are making this whole thing successful. We're on a string of sellouts, going on. It always seems like, we're still a month away from a show happening, and and you're already saying there's only a few tickets available. You know what I mean? So I just want to take a second and thank all the fans. I've met so many fans lately. I've been meaning to talk about that. I met so many fans lately from Dreamwave, and I don't know if you see where tickets are purchased from, Jay, but a lot of people are, they're coming to LaSalle for destinations, like they're making it a weekend, like, asking me, hey, where's a good place to eat? Hey, next time I'm gonna stay overnight. Where's a good hotel to stay? That kind of stuff. So it's becoming more popular, and people love a good, Dylan can you love a good weekend, right? Good, like, just like a wrestler, you like to have your whole weekend booked up, right? Just as a fan, you like to have your whole weekend booked up, if you know what I mean, and do it all up. But it's becoming a real destination. So I want to say thank you to not just LaSalle, but yes, LaSalle fans, but everybody that's traveling in, everybody that's watching on IWTV, just, watching and buying a ticket, like, the train's rolling because you guys. And so I just want to take a second to thank everyone for that. So speaking of IWTV, like I said, if you're new to Dreamwave, you can watch all of the pay-per-view events on independentwrestling.tv, I think is the actual website. We say IWTV, kind of referring to it, but independentwrestling.tv, man, how's the streams going? A lot of people tuning in. Can you see where people are tuning in, like maybe like overseas or something like that?
So we can, we actually get a nice report of like demographics, and like, honestly, I don't drill as deeply as I should into that.
Sure.
I think I've said this at like our pre-show meetings before. It's crazy though to see like the numbers, like just how many people are invested in it, and like, and it's crazy because the business model has changed. You talk about people traveling here.
Yeah.
That's when we started Dreamwave back up. I go, I want this to be PWG. If you want to see this, like, why don't you take it to a bigger arena? Go to Chicago or do this. Like, this is LaSalle is like our own little Reseda, California here, right? Like,
absolutely.
I mean, it's a destination town. It's a bizarre town. It's a small town, but like, if you've never been here before, like, the food is good. The bars are nightlife are fun. I mean, it's just got a charm to it, and it's hard to like describe until you've been here before. But yeah, it's crazy. So, and I think IWTV has helped that. Like, we can only fit like so many people in that building at the Knights of Columbus.
Yeah.
But what we've done broadcasting on IWTV is expanded that room and made it infinite. Like, we can, we get people from all over the world. We get people from, all different states, and those are turning into ticket sales. And that's what's important. And that's the lifeblood of our industry. I mean, we make money off the streams. I'm not saying we don't, but Uprising, it's a Friday night. It's sometimes a little harder for people to get from the city and the major metropolitan areas to get to LaSalle. They might work late or whatever. Not saying we don't draw or we don't sell out the shows a lot of times, but sometimes people are just like, I enjoy watching at home. I want to hear the commentary, or I don't like crowds, or, things like that. I know one of the talent's grandparents, they used to come to the shows all the time. And once we got on IWTV, they're like, get their pizza, get their snacks, get in front of the TV. And it's like, it's like your own suite. You got your own bathroom, you got your own catering. It's like, so it's just a different experience. And And IW, going back to Uprising real briefly, they do amazing numbers. I mean, we get a lot more global viewers for that.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but there's important people watching Dreamwave and watching Uprising right now. And I'm not saying they're stealing our ideas or anything like that, but I just think that like to scout talent and to look at like who might be the next people going to the next level in our industry. And
Sure.
and I think that's pretty cool. And I mean, you find inspiration in weird places after all these years, right? And
Right.
like
Yeah.
that's one of my things is like, we'll talk about it eventually, I'm sure, but let's launch a new brand or let's try something different. Like let's challenge ourselves. Let's go take a parking lot of a pizza restaurant and make it into an arena, like
Yeah.
those are the kind of challenges we like to take on. And, that's one of my goals is to be maybe a little bit for my ego, but just to be one of the top tier indies, and I feel like we're already there. It's just that not everyone knows it yet.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. All right, Jay. So something old is new once again. Let's talk about After Dark Wrestling. So, in a nutshell, back in 2015, After Dark Wrestling is a separate entity, the third brand of Jay Repsel's Dreamwave tree, if you will. After Dark Wrestling is a 21 plus bar show type atmosphere show that he had. And he had two of these back in 2015 at a place called the Sanctuary in LaSalle, Illinois. And it just made its return. Jay just brought it back, and we just had a show called Probable Cause last Friday, March the 6th. The show is available right now on IWTV. You can go check it out. This was a wild show. This was a great, the fans were on top of the action. We had Spider Nate Webb in the building. We had Effie versus Hartenbauer. I'm not going to spoil it, but you're going to want to watch how that one finishes up, literally. There was an awesome match on there between Hunter Holtcraft and AMB, and we had on this show a fun match that I think is really starting to pick up steam on social media. A match of the eras, if you will, the 90s grunge lord Stephen Flo, the Pearl Jam Eddie Vedder, cosplay wrestler, if you will, versus Santana Jackson, who is he does a Michael Jackson impersonation, all this kind of stuff. But man, we had a blast. The next show is the tickets are on sale tomorrow, March 13th. The show is going to be called Walk of Shame, and it's going to be the next show, and it's going to be Uprising is June 19th that we talk about. It's going to be the same night. It's going to be that night. Showtime is going to be like 9:30. Jay, is that right?
Yeah, we want to give us time to walk down the street. It's a little
It's time to turn the corner.
So and one of my biggest pet peeves in indie wrestling is not starting the show late. If we've ever done it, it's because like the stream, we had to wait for the internet went down or something right beforehand. I think that was one time.
Yeah.
So if we say the show is going to start at a certain time, it's going to start at a certain time. So
that's right.
Yeah, we said 9:30 to be nice and safe. So
yeah. So but let's talk about the return of After Dark. It's a 21 and plus show, so anything goes. I think I told the fans, a couple times, the only rule is there are no rules, and there weren't any rules, all night long. But talk about this. This is what is this, like the little bastard child, maybe the stepsister, of Dreamwave, but two separate entities. This one is 21 plus. But yeah, just talk about the return, man. Why did you decide to bring it back? And man, how good it felt after that show last week.
It felt really good. Again, like finding inspiration, doing and I've got more texts. We had that show on Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I got more texts from talent, either that was on the show or want to be on the next show, with like, oh, what my entrance music should be. What my, we should do this, and here's who I should wrestle. I'm like, it's just cool to see people get inspired by doing the same thing, only a little differently.
Right.
And a lot differently, I guess. But it's a blank slate. It's a blank canvas for us. And I really enjoy it. I mean, at first it was when we brought After Dark, originally conceived it, it was because we were very, very PG. I mean, like when we first started Dreamwave, if you go back to '09, those first couple of years are super, super homogenized, like where it's like, clean, squeaky clean. You can't even say damn. I mean, nothing. Like I used to get pissed when people grabbed the mic and like they'd say hell,
All right.
And we've loosened the reins and grown with the times a little bit with Dreamwave, but still, there's certain things and certain characters that there's no chance we could do it in front of our audience because there's a lot of kids there, and I do respect that. Like, I think
Right.
we have the perfect balance in Dreamwave where we don't insult
Yeah.
with people's intelligence. However, it's like this is a little bit edgier. This is
Yeah.
how do you say this? If ECW were still around and modernized, like that's my vision of it. I
Right.
mean, it's different now because everybody's cancel culture is a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, my scratch pad, like, I don't know, maybe 30% of it sees the light of day, but like, and also we don't want to send somebody out there and talk politics because
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
we see that bullshit all day long.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Wrestling is our escape from reality, so there's certain things we don't touch.
Sure.
And we don't do things just to be controversial because I think that's stupid. But I think that like some of the regular wrestling tropes that we did Friday night, like you had your athletic match or two, you had your like hardcore. I mean, the opening match we used the table in. Why? Because we can. It's my
Right.
rules.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like some of the old timers would roll over in their grave. Like it was the first match and they're doing everything. Jesus,
kidding me?
it's like.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, God. Now what do we do next? Take a gun out and shoot somebody? I mean, maybe I don't know. We'll see. I mean, but in all seriousness, though, it's like we did the dance off. We did the shit show scramble.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm a huge mark for like I love countdowns. Like anytime I can put a countdown in there and somebody walks in there, you don't know who it is. I'm all for that. So we came up with this concept. It's like, well, we could, like freelance as a scramble every show. I think it's genius. I love it. I think it's a great idea. Love those guys. And I go, let's put a little twist on it and do like, every 90 seconds somebody new comes down, but we don't announce anybody that's in the match. So it could be funny, it could be a death match guy, it could be a man, a woman, a child, a short person, a tall person. It doesn't matter. So I love that concept. And in the middle, excuse me, easy for me to say, in the middle of the match, there's a dance off. And it's like, I'm going back and watching like the FBI and the BWO do the stuff in the ECW era. And it's like, sometimes I think people take wrestling too seriously, and it's like, and we still did have serious wrestling, but you had to like, you had to wait for it. And you had to sit through this dance off if that wasn't your thing, or this comedy match, or Stephen Flo versus Santana Jackson, which in all honesty, sometimes I'm just like, what is the most ridiculous match we can book for this? Just to have people going like, what are they thinking? I mean, I think we did it back in the day with Dreamwave. We had like, I'm going to mess this up, but it was like Colt Cabana, Shockwave the Robot, Space Monkey, Dick Justice, like a fatal four-way. It's like,
hell yeah.
You see the match graphic and you're like, I might have to buy this DVD or watch the stream now. But
right.
So yeah, that's kind of one of our challenges. But I will say that we're working on championship belt designs now. So they're
Okay.
After Dark's probably not going to be. I mean, we're probably looking at 2 or 3 a year, maybe.
Sure.
At this point, but I mean, I want it to be a thing. And that was what I told the person that owns the establishment that we were at. I was like, hey, like usually we like to write this stuff episodically. So like I need a return date. Like, this owner is like, I've never really had wrestling. I don't watch wrestling. By the 5 minutes into the first match, she's like, yeah, let's do it. Just do it, whatever. Because I told her, I'm going to announce the return date. And if it's not here, I'll find a different venue for it.
Yeah.
I don't care. We got these people here and we got this buzz. So we're going to let them know that we're coming back. And like I said, 5 minutes into it, she's like, hell yeah, we're doing this again. I'm like, all right, I knew you'd see things my way.
Yeah. Shout out to the Sanctuary for having a crazy wrestling, crowd there. So we're going to have a lot of fun there, man. So thank you for having us. Let's talk about our sponsors, Jay. We got to talk about the people that, kind of make it happen for us. Luz Lagrado in Peru, Illinois. Fantastic restaurant to eat, some of the best pizza and pasta around, man. Just, they're big supporters of Dreamwave Wrestling and, have been basically since the 2022 return. You know
I
what I
think
mean?
that's Stephen Wolf's favorite restaurant too, from what I heard.
Oh
after
yeah,
dark.
oh absolutely, yeah, yeah. I think he's in
No.
there. If he went after dark, you know the reason why.
No, Legrato's is great, man. We love it. They've
Yeah.
been awesome to us. We love going there after the shows. I feel like that's just a part of the show, and it's cool because it's a restaurant. So like you see families and they're eating in the dining room, and they're the wrestlers are in there mingling with everybody, and it's cool, man. It's just a cool atmosphere, and looking forward to hopefully getting the deal done to do the October show there again this year. I thought that was one of my personal favorite shows we've done in a very long time. Just because, like, what can we do to top, having a beach?
Yeah.
Like, let's have a graveyard. Let's,
Yeah.
So literally we had semis trucking in dirt the morning of the show. I mean, we had like people trying to get on the show. They're like with shovels, like making a grave. I'm like, this is like, if people are driving by, what are they thinking? Like, they're
But man, did it look
what is
good,
happening
though?
here?
Yeah,
It did. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I'm a big Halloween guy. I love the spooky season and I love the fall. So I look forward to that every year.
Yeah. And let's talk about our Uprising Women's Athlete sponsor, Exercise Science, which is a gym you can go work out at, club in Peru, Illinois. They sponsor Uprising, our women's athletes. It's been awesome to have these guys on board. This is a place where the athletes can come and work out when they're in town. They always have to worry about where to the gym to go to, and and this one is state of the art. It's top notch. They really take care of their clients there. It's been really awesome working with Exercise Science, right, Jay?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's they have personal trainers. That's kind of like their thing. Or you can just go in and work out on your own. But all the talent that comes through here, they always like fly me in early because I want to get a workout at an XS, and it's cool. They're all rocking the gear, and like Megan Bain, for example, has to get a workout in every time she comes here. She just loves it. We're trying to get something together with them where RJS is actually going to do like a self-defense course there, and we're going to donate all the proceeds to like the battered women's shelter and things like that. And
Awesome.
they're always up for good ideas, and like they listen to us. And the guy that owns the gym, JP, he's very entrepreneurial as well. So we're always like putting together stuff. I said, hey man, Legrato's is here, XS is here. There's a lot of parking lots, have a big ass show there. So
Right.
we're always working on ideas, but it's a very important part of the puzzle though.
Yeah, it definitely is. And, very glad to have those guys on board with us. All right, Jay. So, we talked about anniversary for a second, and there is, other shows in between, man. But I really want to talk about this show at the Psycho Silo Saloon in Langley, Illinois, July 18th. Tickets are already on sale now. No matches have been announced. But, let's talk about this structure, right? So it's going to be 2 rings enclosed by a steel structure topped with barbed wire, literally meaning there is no escape outside of this. Now, we don't know any matches or anything yet. And this is, this is obviously going to be an outdoor event. But, let's just talk about Psycho Silo Saloon. If you're not familiar with, what it is and they are excited to have wrestling there in the summer.
Absolutely. And I used to ride. I never actually made it
I
there.
didn't know that you did. Okay.
Yeah. In all honesty, I never made it there. However, it is an attraction for bikers from all over.
Sure.
They get on and just either hit neon signs or hit Harley dealers or hit state parks or whatever. The Silo's a huge destination. So, and it's cool because at nighttime they have like some pretty big national acts. Sometimes they'll have all kinds of stuff going on out there.
Okay.
So it was just a natural fit. And like I mentioned the idea to a mutual friend, and they're like, yeah. And then next thing I know, they were reaching out to us, and there was mutual interest. And of course, it's like, what do you do big? Again, like having the show at Legrato's, it's like you have a parking lot. We have to turn this into an arena. I mean, there's a big open area. So it's like, how the hell am I going to fill this place? So, well, first I'm going to put 2 rings there to make it look more full. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. So we came up. I mean, if you put 2 and 2 together, you can probably figure out maybe a general direction this might be going. But essentially, we got 2 rings caged around the entire thing. No ceiling on it, but barbed wire around the top of it. And at one point I go, you know what we should do? We should electrify the barbed wire. And they're like, I don't think that's a good idea. And I'm like, yeah, you're probably right, you know. But yeah, I mean, and there's gonna be regular matches taking place in the one ring the entire show. For our front row ticket holders, there are some still available. The reason for that is there's double of the front rows almost because there's two rings. So we're gonna alternate the matches between the rings. We got a special guest host, the Godfather is gonna be there.
Right.
You know, and that's all we've really announced so far. But the cage match is going to be called the Steel Divide.
Yeah.
Not unlike a Hell in a Cell or a War Games match. So it's kind of our version of things. You know, we just kind of take ideas that work and make them our own, and that's the case with the Steel Divide.
So I'm gonna have to say the Steel Divide.
That's right. I'm sure I'll come up with some stupid tagline that you're gonna have to say over again.
All right. I love it, man. I love it. Yeah. So I'm excited for this one, man. Huge outdoor show. Like I said, tickets are already on sale right now. DreamwaveWrestling.com, DWTix.com, DWTIX.com. Yeah, this is a huge outdoor show. You're going to want to see this structure, and you're going to want to see Dreamwave Wrestling here. So, you know, come on out, make it a weekend, you know, but definitely come out and check this one out. So this one's, this one has the potential to be a very, 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 very well attended match. So you're going to make sure you get those tickets. Like I said, more front rows too. So, you know, going to be right up on top of the action. So let's talk about the Dreamwave Wrestling Academy. Jay, is there any plans to kick that back in this year? We graduated one class last year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a date for that. It's been like talked about, but it's a lot of commitment.
Sure.
I'm not saying no.
Yeah,
In
right.
fact, I'll be totally frank with you. There was talk about maybe moving. You know, I wanted to give Uprising kind of more of its own identity. So we talked about moving it to the location the school's at, just to give it a totally, completely, you know, to make myself a little crazier and the ring crew a little crazier. But, you know, we talked about maybe doing that. And there's definitely students interested. There's interest on all sides. It's just like we talked about before we went on the air, there's so much going on that you have to find the right place and right time to do everything. And the head trainer, Christian Rose, does not like training in the wintertime. So
sure.
I will say that. Even though it's heated and there's heating and air conditioning, that's his preference. And, you know, it's his. And you know, I just want to say what a job he did with those kids. And
he did.
The talent that would come down just to sit under the learning tree with him. And, you know, that's a guy that I don't think gets the flowers he deserves a lot of times. Not just from an in-ring standpoint, from a promo standpoint, a creative standpoint. You know, we confide a lot in each other for, you know, creative ideas and things like that. And, you know, I just wish more people saw what I saw. And you know, I don't think at this stage of his career he wants to do more dates. I think he'd rather be on his four-wheeler somewhere. But, you know, I'm fortunate that we still have him for now, at least for the time being. You know, he's putting his Dreamwave career on the line against Cody Lane for that shot at the alternative title. And, you know, this might be it. I mean, it really might be it for him. And when that day comes, whether it's in April, that's going to be a really sad day for me. So,
yeah. All right, Jay. So, you know, I got to ask you, man, because the people want to know, and a lot of people have been asking me. So I'm gonna say, I've been saying Jay's coming on the podcast. So I'm gonna ask him when he comes on the podcast.
Oh, no.
Give us the trading cards update, please. Everybody's want to know about the trading cards. When are they coming?
I wish I had. I mean, I could show you. I don't know if a picture will show up.
You're looking around, so that's a good idea. You've seen them.
It's a good sign. Yeah.
No, I actually. So what happened was with the last set, I got him and I hated him. The artwork. We advertised this artwork and stuff, and I'm so proud of like the sets we've put out so far. I mean, everything from like the box art, like we take a lot of pride in like the box art to make sure it's nice and looks good. And I just felt like it sucked. The cards sucked. The quality sucked. Then there was a licensing issue with one of the talents that from the time we do photography to the time it gets designed to the time it goes, we had to pull one of the cards out of the set. Or well, we didn't have to, but we got a cease and desist. They said that we couldn't do it because it was now a contracted talent. So long story short, we got the artwork all redone. It's the best we've ever done now. And so then I had to redo the boxes because it didn't match the artwork, which they come on a slow boat from China. I actually just answered somebody today and I said, man, the art's here. I'm not gonna be able to find it because I'm live on the air here, but I don't know if you can see it. This is a picture of a picture on my phone, but I mean, just the artwork is phenomenal.
Yeah.
That's the boxes.
Yeah.
So those are actually going out next week finally. So
Okay.
yeah, and we do the pre-order model too, and it's another thing. Like, we don't have a factory here. I mean, it's us stamping out the stuff in the cards or whatever, and there's no little factory in China or North Carolina or anything that puts our cards together or collates them. We do everything.
Right.
It's might have a couple wrestlers or students come over and help us out, but it's everything's done in house. So.
Yeah. All right. So there you answer. They're shipping very soon. So get ready. So you'll have them in hand probably soon and bring them to the shows. Get everybody to sign them.
Then we're going to put the next set on sale. We're going to make them wait longer. And then everybody that emailed me and asked me about it is not getting a chase card.
Right.
So, no, I'm just kidding. I'm just totally kidding.
No chase.
No, actually, the card people, let me just say, they are some of the most loyal, awesome people. No BS. They're awesome. They're a very passionate group. And it's cool to see I'll get texts from wrestlers. They'll be like, look, I just signed this card. I don't even have this card yet. I'm like, yeah, you'll get it when you come to Dreamwave. But it's just cool that they're in New Jersey, and that's the first time they saw their card was a fan that brought it to their merchandise table. So,
yeah. All right, Jay, before you run over the shows that are coming up here real quick. So I want to let everybody know season tickets are a thing now in Dreamwave, right? So they're available on Dreamwave. They're available for Uprising too. Is that
they are
just to answer questions? Okay.
Last week they went on sale. Yep.
Okay, cool. All right. So, because a lot of people have, I've had a few people, questions like, like some people asking if it's a thing now. So I wanted to say, yes, it's a thing for Dreamwave and Uprising. It's not for After Dark. I don't think you're doing that. So yes, so just those two. So,
yep.
All right. So the next show's coming up. So we got Anniversary, April the 11th. Tickets on sale right now. There's very limited remain, so get out and get those. After that, we're looking at what we're calling All-Star Weekend. If you were at After Dark last week, you heard me talk about Dreamwave All-Star Weekend. It's going to be June 19th and 20th. 3 shows, 2 days. Uprising. 7:00 on Friday the 19th, After Dark following
6:00. Actually, there's a 1 hour earlier start time. Yep.
Okay, there you go. Friday 6:00 start time, and then Saturday not on sale, not announced yet. The Dreamwave show for June, and then tickets already on sale for the Silo Salon.
Easy for you to say.
Yes, Silo Saloon show, July the 18th. Tickets on sale right now, and then stay tuned for everything else to go on sale later. So, yeah, so big stuff, man. Announcement of that All-Star Weekend coming up. I want to take a second too. I always kind of like to do this, when Jay's on the podcast because. Show days are crazy. We're all running around. You heard Jay talk about earlier about, it takes a village and Dreamwave belongs to all of us. But, I just want to take a second because I know a lot of people that work with us, Dreamwave, are going to listen to this, and I just want to say that, that I appreciate our Dreamwave team and everybody, that we work with on the show day. I'm not going to say any names because, I'll say one, I'm going to have to say them all. We can't get to them all, but everybody has their job. Everybody, gets things done. And I just want to say that, I've worked with a lot of, like I said, companies and stuff like that. And it's a happy circus, but man, we are like greased lightning when it's time to get it done. And I just want to say, I appreciate everybody, from myself, and everybody on the Dreamwave team. So just want to say thank you guys a lot. I look so forward to seeing everybody at the shows when it's time to have them. So just want to say thank you for everybody and everybody that, everything that you do for Dreamwave. So like I said, Dreamwave in LaSalle, Peru. make it a destination, man. Come to a show this year. Got lots of shows. Jay's added a few extra shows. All-Star Weekend would be a great weekend to come. We like I said, we got great restaurants. There's great lodging. Around here, we got some of the best pro wrestling in the world. So, take the leap, man. Buy the ticket if you haven't been thinking about it. If you've seen us on IWTV, man, come experience Dreamwave live. Dylan, am I telling lies or am I telling lies?
No lies detected here. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Right, thank
you got to make the trip. Yep.
Thank you to our venues, the KC Club, everybody that puts up with us there, the bartenders, that put us with us every night. Tip those guys very well. I always do because I know they're going through a lot putting with us. So thank you to the Sanctuary and all our sponsors. And we talked about tickets already being on sale. So it comes to the point in the podcast now, Jay, where we've asked, all the fans and our friends out there to, send in those questions through social media and email. And we got 8 questions for you today, man. So you're a popular guy, so appreciate the bump, man. And so
you're welcome for the house.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
All right, Dylan.
Yeah. So a lot of these we have already touched on, but we'll still run through them. The first one, we're close to St. Patty's Day. The first question is, will Dreamwave be back in the St. Patty's Day parade this year?
We made the decision last minute to not do the parade this year. So it was not a very popular decision amongst a couple people in my house and otherwise, but I felt like we needed a little break and no, so we're not going to do it this year. We might be back in it next year though.
Okay. Second question, we just talked about it a minute ago. It asked, have you considered a new venue for Uprising? I believe you mentioned the school maybe. Is that the only one or any other thoughts of moving it?
We've thought a lot about it to give it its own identity. We thought about changing the Knights of Columbus up a little bit, much to the chagrin of the crew and the sound guy, just reversing the entrance or doing some other things. So that's always on the top of our minds because we don't want Uprising to be just an afterthought where it's like, oh, that's the Friday show. And, so that's, if the right thing jumped out at me, and we do have venues approaching, but it has to make sense logistically. It's nice to have the ring set up when we get there on Saturday. We change a few things, change a few banners, and have a show. So, not to say we couldn't pull it off, because like DB said, like we can pull off just about anything at this point. I truly feel like.
Yeah, I think we've seen it all by now.
Yeah, but I mean, if the right thing came along, absolutely, and still that might still happen. I mean, I make a lot of decisions in my truck when I'm driving, so you never know.
Yeah. So just wait and see. Number 3 here. Again, we've kind of already talked about the All-Star Weekend, we'll call it. Any thoughts on a 3-day Dreamwave festival? That's what the question asks.
Man, I that was kind of the thing after we've done a double shot. We're like, well, maybe we could do like Uprising Friday, something Saturday, or when we were doing the Uprising schedule, we thought, what if we did just like a weekend of Uprising, kind of like they did with Shimmer back in the day, where let's give it its own weekend. Maybe we'll do like a couple of those instead. So it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Saturday, Sunday, or what have you, whatever that may be. I'm not sure what that would look like, but just the example. But yeah, I thought about doing those kind of things a lot, and we're always looking at unique, fun things where we can get together with our Dreamwave family and spend a little time together and. So that nothing's ever off the table. I can tell you that, other than like a death match show. That's definitely off the table.
Never say never,
those guys. No offense to those guys. That's just not our thing here. But I mean, you never know what you're going to see at Dreamwave or surrounding a Dreamwave show.
All right. The next question. We've talked about the July show. You hinted maybe October might be back at Lose. This question is, how many outdoor shows will we see this year?
Well, we got the Psycho Silo.
Mm-hmm.
If I have my way, October will be back at Legrato's. What else did we do last year? We did the Taste of the Illinois Valley.
We did the park. Yeah, we did that
That
last
was
year.
in August.
Yeah. Brandon will know if you're doing that.
That's a good timing there.
Yeah.
Perfect timing. I will say it's on the table, and I have to talk to my wife and ask her if it's okay. No, I'm kidding. and the ring crew, and make sure it's okay. But I had a lot of fun doing it last year. The city of Peru was excellent. The mayor was excellent. I mean, it was a fun time. Did we do 3 shows in that weekend? I think we did.
Yeah.
We did Uprising Friday.
Yeah, Uprising.
The hands were dealt, and
we're dealt with that night. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a chance. I mean, the offer's on the table, and I think I'm about 90% we're gonna do it. So
Okay.
Okay, cool, good deal. Number 5. It looks like this question may come from a booker here. It asks any advice or the best way to approach a legend for a potential booking.
Mm.
sure. A lot of them have agents, which I will just tell you to proceed with caution.
Yeah.
Make sure it's a reputable company. Most important thing you can do is ask another promoter and say, hey, have you ever dealt with this guy? If you've seen them on a show and know they've been there and actually showed up, and I always vet people, especially the guests now, how are they to deal with? Because that's a thing. I mean, not so much anymore. A lot of those guys are gone or don't do bookings, but man, we had some people come through the first generation of Dreamwave and my old company RCW, and woof. I mean, trashed hotel rooms,
Oh,
just not nice to the fans,
yeah.
and that's not something we want to be a part of. Even if they do sell some tickets, it's just not worth the headache. And
Sure.
but yeah, I mean, with social media now, you can always reach out to somebody. People are more accessible than ever before. A lot of times they'll have booking information on their social media accounts if they have them. Otherwise, just the word of mouth is the best way to do it, and ask somebody that's dealt with them in the past.
Mm.
Yeah. All right. Our next question, a listener wants to know, why did Brittany hit Bobby with a chair?
I hope we're going to find that out
Yeah.
in a few weeks here in April. Again, we talked about
Yeah.
it before. That was one of the most shocking things. And if you go back and watch that show and watch the people in the front row that are on the hard camera side, it was pretty, you can see people like literally jaws dropping.
Yeah.
And there's somebody that must be sitting by the hard cam or in the first couple rows in the microphone, the boom mic picked it up. It was like, holy shit. Like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
hear that and it's like, wow. So we don't know. I mean, we don't know if she's going to join the curse. We don't know if she has other motives. Maybe she was having a bad night. She can be a little irritable at times. I will say that about Primo
Yeah.
Brooks. So nobody sees. But,
Yeah.
I guess that's why you have to buy a ticket and find out.
That's right,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. Tune into April to get your answer.
That's right.
Next question. This is a fun one, I think. Any thoughts on a retro show where you bring back some names from the beginning of Dreamwave?
That would be really cool. We just did kind of the retro 80s show.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But as far as bringing back old talent, man, it's just so hard for me to picture a show. What does a Dreamwave show look like where there's no Connor Hopkins or there's no Brittany
Sure.
Brooks or
Yeah.
Rebecca, and there's only so many slots. Like if you've
Sure.
noticed, our shows are very accurately timed. You're usually out of there
Yeah.
between 2:30 and 3, 2.5 hours and 3 hours. Very rarely do we go over. We don't take an intermission and things like that for that reason. It's all about momentum. But I'm going off on a tangent here, but there's a certain formula to Dreamwave, so it'd be hard to have more than 7 or 8 matches now. We used to do
Yeah.
11 or 12, and you couldn't enjoy the show because we're sitting there going, come on, this entrance is taking too long, get in the ring, let's go, ring the bell. And now we've kind of shaved that off. So in order to bring other people back, you have to cut people otherwise, or have more matches, or have a big scramble or a battle royal or something. But I think it'd be cool. I mean, I'm very proud of our legacy and the people that got us here. I mean, the building blocks, Nick Brubaker and Marche Rocket and Zero Gravity. I mean, I think about those people all the time.
Zicky Dice.
Zicky Dice. He's healthy again. He just
I
got
saw
cleared.
that. I know. Funny, Jay, because I saw his post today. The first Dreamwave show I ever went to, the first guy I ever seen through a curtain at a Dreamwave show was Zicky.
No kidding. We opened with a Zicky Dice match. Huh?
He come. I think it was some sort of something like that. Now, Jay, I could have went to the bar first. You know what I mean? But I remember, we
could have nothing against Zicky. I mean, there's a chance it could have happened. We kind of a formula. If you'll notice, here's a little innuendo. We open with a hot tag match or a hot singles match every time.
Yeah.
Right.
You will never see a Dreamwave show open with a promo.
Right.
I think I don't know, man. It just kills the vibe. I think it kills the moment, unless there's something very serious, that we need to talk about or whatever.
Yeah.
You're never going to see a segment to open a show, very rarely. Now, back in the day, we did it, but we like to get people in there and engaged. I always tell people, when you used to watch Monday Nitro back in the day, they'd always start with the cruiserweights for a reason. Like, give me 8 minutes, let's make it hot, things like that. So there's a certain formula to it, and Yeah, maybe Zicky fits that formula. He's a friend, and I haven't seen him in a real long time. But
Sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. I got one more question here.
All right.
Last question. What keeps Jay motivated?
Seeing other people succeed. At this point, like,
That's the right answer, brother.
If somebody came to me and said, "Hey, do you want to go on the road with the big guys and write or whatever?" At this point in my life, even though my kids are a little older, I would probably say no, thank you, thanks, but no thanks. So I don't have any desire to go to the next level myself. I want to keep Dreamwave where it's at, keep elevating Dreamwave. Stop it. Maybe at After Dark. No, I'm kidding. No, I have no desire for my own aspirations. However, to see, like I said, there's going to be some news coming out that I'm very proud of. And I got a call and somebody said that, hey, I just achieved one of my dreams and it's because of you. And like, not to sound sappy, but that's a powerful thing, man. That's a really powerful thing.
Yeah. I get it.
I'm almost getting choked up just talking about it, but it's like, it is, man. It's a big deal for me to see other people. I mean, you see the Hunters and the Gages and the Connor Hopkins and those people. And that's not saying like, they get mentored by the Christian Roses and the Hartenbauers and things like that. And just that whole familial vibe we have at Dreamwave is amazing. And that's what motivates me. And also new challenges like After Dark, like doing a show at the Silo or the Grottos or what have you. So you got to find motivation in strange places sometimes.
That's right, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good answer, man. Good answer. Yeah, because I feel like, I feel like, with what we do, man, we got to always never lose sight of, we're trying to get these guys and girls to the next level. You know what I mean? Providing the best platform we can for them. And when they get there, man, like it's, it feels good. Like it feels like we're doing something right, but real quick here, Jay, just, see something funny. You're already being booked in a Jello match versus Effie at After Dark. And if you were,
hey man, anything goes at After Dark. You just never know. If the money was right, I'm all in.
Right. What about a show in West Texas, man? We got fans out there. You want to get on the road a little bit?
Dustin, I appreciate that, but probably not going to happen. We can watch us on IWTV though. I will buy your plane ticket to come to the show and come to LaSalle.
There you go.
It'd be way less stress for me, I promise. And everybody.
Heck yeah, dude. Awesome, man. All right, Jay, I'm gonna get you out here shortly, man, but I'm gonna show you two pictures, and I want you to just give me your thoughts on them. This is kind of some things that are going on in Dreamwave right now. So ladies first.
Man, is this one word or can I say what I'm thinking?
No, what's on your brain? What do you see?
Okay. Amazing talent. We're so lucky to have Megan. You'll notice that she's not ever on the flyers or any of the artwork. The reason for that is because her availability is subject to change so much, whether it's going overseas or AEW needs her, but she loves LaSalle, loves to be here. Like I said before, she loves going to XS, and she's got a lot of friends here. Man, she could main event the biggest wrestling show in the world tomorrow, literally. And we said that since the minute we saw her.
Yeah, so if you're listening right now, we have a picture of Megan Bain. She is the current Uprising Women's Good as Gold briefcase holder at the moment. She can cash that in at any time for a championship opportunity. So, yeah, and this is what I talk about when I say top tier talent. Cream of the crop. Megan's one of the best on TV right now, and she loves LaSalle, loves to come to Dreamwave. We love having her. All right, why wouldn't we? She's been coming to us, for a while, but the fans love her. Anytime she's on a card, just you're the money you paid for your ticket is taken care of if Megan's on the card, man, because that's how much you think about it. So, all right,
I'm not sure she's ever been on a show and not had the best match on the show.
You're right, man. So, all right, let's go men's side. Bobby Orlando.
What a fun guy! What a great guy! I mean, I think we talked about. I don't know if it was on the air or not, but when he won the Good as Gold Rumble, that was one of my favorite moments.
It was fun.
And that was the thing that wasn't always the way things were going to go, and you're just, driving and having an epiphany. It's like, why not? Let's go, and I love Bobby. And I tell you what, there could not be a sweeter person. Like, I've never met
Yes.
anybody that does not like Bobby Orlando as a
Right.
person. And
Everybody pulls for him, man. Yeah.
he deserves all of his success, and he's a funny guy. If you've just seen his wrestling stuff, go watch his YouTube stuff. I mean, he's pretty well known. Like, I don't want to say an influencer or anything, but like, he's a well-known YouTuber. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, man. And
or TikToker or something. I don't know. One of those things.
Right. And Bobby's so fun, man. And let me tell you, man, like right now, when that goat sound hits, when his music starts, man, then LaSalle goes crazy, man. Like I said, everybody loves him, but LaSalle is really, really loving him. And when he won the Good as Gold briefcase, it was, a fun time, man. I loved watching everybody celebrate. It was like elation, but also a little bit of shock in there, and like, oh my God, like the idea setting in of, oh my God, like Bobby's got a shot at being, you know what I mean? And, the kids love the GOAT, you know what I mean? So yeah. And like, he's doing so well for himself right now, man. And yeah, I just love him to death, man. He's so fun. He's one of the guys I love talking, about, because our football teams are both terrible. So we, we sulk together. So, but it's great, man. But yeah, just like, I love having him in the locker room and a part of the Dreamwave roster. Want to remind everybody, I'm sorry.
No, I said absolutely.
Okay.
I was agreeing with you.
Want to remind everybody to head on over to DreamwaveWrestling.com. Get those tickets. Tickets on sale right now. April the 11th is coming fast. Anniversary. Jay, we got to get you on here more than once a year, man. Just tell me, be like, hey, man, I want to go up and just come and talk and, just let some stuff off my chest. Drop a few teasers, that kind of stuff, man. You're welcome anytime. But
if only you knew how to get a hold of me.
Yeah, right. Well, brother, I appreciate it, man. Thank you for all you do. I do want to plug our YouTube series on the way out of here. So Jay has blessed our podcast with the ability of showcasing the stars of tomorrow in Dreamwave Wrestling. If you come out to a show, Dreamwave, come out early, because you're going to get to see at least a match or two on the pre-show, and those matches are recorded for a YouTube series that we have called Dreamwave Prelude, and we are showcasing the stars of tomorrow on Dreamwave Wrestling. This is the young talent, the ones that are trying to get that roster spot on the Dreamwave Wrestling roster. So these guys and girls they're young, they're hungry. So check out that YouTube series. Come see what Dreamwave is going to look like in the future. We couldn't be more proud to be a part of it. And I'm going to throw a little teaser too. We got a big, huge announcement coming up soon about the future of Dreamwave Prelude for the rest of the year. And I'm excited about it, man. So make sure you stay tuned in to Dreamwave Wrestling socials, sit down, Mark socials, all this stuff. But really do appreciate it, Jay. And we're having a blast doing it, man. So thanks again for that.
Yeah.
Best is yet to come, gentlemen. And looking forward to it. And thanks for having me on again. Listen to me talk for an hour.
Absolutely, man. All right. Well, like I said, get to Dreamwave, get to Uprising. After Dark is back. Plenty of reasons and why to come see Dreamwave Wrestling. Come on down to beautiful little LaSalle, Peru, Illinois. Jay, can't thank you enough, brother, for being on the podcast. Thank you for being the best fucking Dreamwave promoter in the world. And thank you for all you do, man. And hopefully see you soon, man. So if you see Jay in the show,
hopefully.
What's that?
Yeah,
we'll see you in April, hopefully.
Yeah, yeah. You're gonna see me in April, but if you guys see Jay at the show, say hey to him, buy him a Miller Lite, anything, that kind of stuff to make him happy. So thank you guys so much. Thank you guys for tuning in on YouTube and Facebook. I am the Dirty Bird DB for Dylan and myself. We'll see you guys next time. Keep spreading the good word of wrestling and keep watching Dreamwave Wrestling.